How do you deal with a child? There is the answer. When a child is unhappy, it will also not behave, right? Most often, then it will not do the right thing. So you have to ask yourself, how can you then deal with that child? It's the same question. You give it love, but you also give it discipline. These are both the things. It's like with a dog. You know, some people, when they have a dog, and when it's young, it's like very wild and running everywhere and creating all sorts of trouble. So they put it on the leash and they keep it on the leash, and they, like to really like train it and sit, and they sit and lie down and all these things, right? But continuously they try to keep that dog on the leash. They never let it run, and then that dog, whenever then it is off the leash, it will create problems. No? So it's the same thing a little bit with mind. This is more actually about mind than about the ego, what I'm now saying. The real nice dog is the dog who will walk with you without a leash. No? To teach a dog that, you probably need a leash. You probably need to teach him that by using a leash. But you also have to let them free. So it's both. You have to love yourself. No? You have to not be dissatisfied with yourself. That is the root cause of all unhappiness.
I suppose the leech is the meditation.
Yes.
And the love, you must come with itself. You cannot force love.
No, but you can, like you will give a little child some ice cream or some sweet. You also can give your ego a little something. But provided there is a little discipline, like with the children, like with the child. The ego, of course, it has these fears and this attachment and this anger and this and this that. Allow it also to have some of that. Allow yourself to grow. Don't expect yourself to be, high and wise and peaceful just like that. It doesn't work. No? So, if your ego wants some ice cream, give it some ice cream, but a little bit. A healthy amount, right? So, in that way, you have to accept that you cannot just jump there. You need patience. You need patience. And impatience, well, we talked about that a lot already in meditation. Impatience is a waste of time.
Is it again the same, to let be what is that moment, and let go of what is that moment, and not going in it, turn around with your ideas, with your thoughts in that moment, but break it with meditation at that moment, when you really you're sucked in a well or in a
negative thinking.
So you can't go with it. You can let it be, but you have to step out of it. So way.
I just say be patient also with yourself. Find there a middle way between disciplining yourself and expecting things from yourself, and on the other hand also accepting that growth takes time, and that you can't just expect it to happen like that. So, but if you are feeling unhappy and you're still feeling up to it, then meditation is the best thing to do. But a lot of times people just don't feel up to it anymore when they are unhappy, and even then maybe try to force themselves to do it, and then it doesn't work because they are so completely crazy. So then what I say is use the gliding road. No? Don't try to jump immediately into meditation, but start with some asana, with some pranayama, and slowly, some outside chanting, then more going inside. So that way you can always do it. But still, you have to want to do it. When we are attached to a certain problem, that is why we are unhappy. So we are attached to that problem. We don't want to let go. Somebody does something bad to us. Okay, we can say, okay, no problem, we meditate and, it's gone. But at that moment, very often we just, don't want to let go. No? We don't want to meditate. If you suggest to some people, oh, you're angry, why don't you meditate a little bit? You will feel much better. They'll become angry with you. So, in that way, you should just accept that.
I don't believe that it's even bad to be angry at that point. That you may be angry, but you have.
It's better to express anger than to keep it inside. But better even not to have it. Better even not to have it. Yeah.
What is your experience when you have lack of love with a certain situation? Like you really want to send love to a certain thing, like more or less the question of my friend here. What is your experience with that? You were talking about Jesus, that he is more or less the symbol of love because he works with it. He lives like the life of love actually.
Yeah.
So have you ever used the technique by giving faith in Jesus, like using his love to fulfill a certain idea you have about something, or meditating on this, using his love to fulfill your...
Well, I'm not really sure what you're asking, but sure, I've used love, but my Jesus is sitting there. But it does not matter, right? It's the same thing. But obviously, such a relationship really helps to make things happen in yourself and in others. And that's why I always like Ganesh, because he's always smiling, he's always light and dancing and happy, and so whatever problem you have, you think of him and you feel, oh, okay, no problem.
What is it then that you think of exactly? Is it like you feel trust in Ganesh, or what do you do then?
Well, I am Ganesh. So then I just have to remember that, like everybody.
It's like I went like I'm Christ, or I feel like Christ.
Yes, and then that will also come out. That is all. If you think you are the devil, then you will find the devil, because everything is there. Well, yeah, then to develop this trust, you need to also surrender. Yes, you also need some surrender. But surrender of who? Just surrender of your little ego, of the little guy who's crying, Everything. You surrender everything. Surrender everything. If spiritual teaching is making you dissatisfied with yourself, you are wrong. You are interpreting it in a wrong way. Actually, what you are at that moment doing is you are creating another public image and attaching yourself to that. Like I still remember quite well, I had read this book, Siddhartha, on the Buddha, when I was very young. So I wanted to be like Buddha. Right? This is quite natural that it happens. So I was very young then, I don't remember exactly how old, and then so I tried to meditate like Buddha. Near a river actually, Then I find, okay, meditation is not so very easy. Then I was very dissatisfied with myself. I thought it was going to be easy. I really was so inspired by this book. I felt, I'm Buddha. I can do it. Yeah. And then after 5 minutes, the branch was hurting me, and flies were annoying me, and it wasn't fun at all. So this is what happens to many people in spirituality. They hear all these things, they read about these things, and they get some kind of idea. Okay, this is where I want to go. They make plans. So try to make as little plans, especially about that, as possible. Not have any expectation about that, especially because it's going to make you very unhappy. And it's going to block you. You have to just flow with the water. You have to, first of all, understand that there is nothing wrong with anything that you have to understand this Om Purnamada Purnamidam, this story. This is another class really, but you have to understand that everything is fantastic. And from that become more relaxed, and that already brings you halfway. Just that brings you halfway, and then the other half is just cleaning out old mess.
Yeah, but it's not good also to be chaotic. So then
No.
order.
But that is true in whatever you want to do. If you want to learn to play a musical instrument, or if you want to become a really good cook, you can't also be chaotic. You also need to learn. You also need to have some discipline. That is true in whatever you want to learn. That is something we should not really, wonder about or even question. It is very natural. Also, you want to learn something, some discipline is needed. But the whole thing is not about discipline. The whole thing is about, okay, finally, now I understand. That's really not a problem. And whatever problem there is, it will change by evolution. It's a natural evolution. I've said it. To journey through the chakras, nobody can escape it. They can stall it. They can waste a lot of time. That's sure. That's their choice. It's their problem. But truly, it's a rocket going up.
Better than you do, or your child can do much better than he's doing, and then you are asking and pushing to do more for yourself and for your child. As I understand, you say that you don't have to do that. Then
Well, I didn't say you don't have to do any pushing. I said you have to have a balance between discipline and being relaxed about it. This is, you have to love the child, and be gentle with it, and inspire it, stimulate it, rather than push it to grow. But okay, you can try to do that. Sometimes a child needs a push.
I have something like a Yiddish question when you explain about the Jesus.
About?
Jesus.
Jesus, right.
I also believe this the churches when I show a ceremony or something, and people don't go to keys or to something to Jesus, but they go to the Maria. So in this
Well, I mean, this quite obviously, if you look at how this happened, then in the history of the church was a very male thing, right? Only priests, only males could be priests and things like that, and the Pope and everybody. So it was a very male thing, and the whole thing was very male, and the whole feeling towards God as being a angry male God, was a little bit in trouble, while actually most religions have a very strong also connection to the female side of the divine, the loving, the caring, the mother kind of energy. And so that they found in Maria. So many of the pagans, as they were called here, who were worshipping Mother Nature, basically in different forms, then when they had to become Christians, which also happened rather, like forcefully, then they turned to Maria. And then you see how this whole Maria worship becomes very important. And really allows people also to approach it more on a heart level. Well, at some point, when I was working with this, I really tried to get some idea about all these things, because even about Jesus, it is said that he went to India. Some say before he started preaching, some said after he stopped and got resurrected and then went. But truly, historians don't even agree if Jesus existed at all. If you look, then you will find quite a lot of discussion about that question. Was there a man called Jesus, or is this just some story which was created? Historians are not quite clear about that even. So what can I say about then Thomas was like just one of... Yes, and there's even in Kashmir, there's even a Saint Yesaya could be Jesus, no? Who came there around that time, came from the north, so came from the right direction, and started preaching there. And there's a temple for him, and there's all sorts of things. So, who knows? I don't know. But actually, whether or not he had some input, I mean, there's many other theories about that. Like, there were quite a few Buddhist monks who traveled in that direction at that time. They even came into France. There's some Buddhist remains of a Buddhist temple even in France, which dates of the time of Christ. So that could also be. But the truth is, what is written in the Bible is that Jesus, before he started all this preaching and playing the teacher, spent a long time in the desert, doing 60 days of fasting, doing many disciplines. Anybody who does that, anybody who really does that, will find the self. From that, all the understanding comes. It's not a requirement to go to India. I mean, you only have to go to yourself. And there you find it all. So I kind of left the question. It seemed such a complicated story and so many different opinions and many specialists fighting about it, so I just left it and thought it doesn't really matter where he got it. If he got it from somebody, or if he just found it himself, doesn't matter. Some people are born already with a lot of understanding and just need a little push to go further. So he could have been like that and been an Indian in his former life, or been a Belgian. I don't know. Maybe at that time the Belgians were very wise. Who knows? About history, we have very little that we really know. We didn't know Jesus smoking cigarettes or not, or all these things. We don't know much. We really don't know much about that time, and before that time, we really don't know much. Very few things.
I have one more question about controlling the mind. We were talking about before, when you want to change, when you're overwhelmed in a situation with difficult thoughts or subjects, and you want to change it into positive thinking, or into peace first, as I said, first into peace, and then start from there. Maybe I'm focused too much on techniques here, but can you advise some technique, even at work, to change, because it can be something that goes on for days, the same subject, to come to peace. And you can say meditation, but when you're at work, it's not possible. You have to focus.
And it's anger? When you're talking about the problem that then you have at work, is it mostly anger?
It's not really anger, it's not anger in the way you're angry at.
Irritation.
Irritation, yes. Or something goes wrong in your life. It's hard to describe. But an upset mind.
Yes. But upset with yourself or upset with other people?
Starts from others, and then you look at yourself and you're upset with yourself
also,
because you're upset with others.
Yes. Yeah, well, don't do that. But But you're upset with others, and then obviously this also reflects on how you feel about yourself, because you also let those others do those things about which you are
The thing
upset.
is, I can look at it and for a part not identify myself with it, and there is the strong will to let go,
Yeah.
but there is not the power of letting go. Like,
Yeah.
there is not the control of, okay, it's okay, calm down, have peace, and then you try peaceful words and giving love to the mind. Doesn't work, it just goes on. And
Yes, mind just goes on spinning negative
it's
thoughts.
like an elephant going crazy. You just
Yes,
goes.
yes. Take a holiday. Oh, really? I mean, what do you expect of yourself? No? You are there in the work, and you have, as you are explaining, quite often a lot of negative thoughts spinning out of control, and you don't have this control. You can do it, whatever, because you already done quite a bit of things of yoga. You've tried mantra, you tried breath, you tried all these things. Now, it's not enough. Take a holiday, get out of it. Not tomorrow necessarily, whenever it is suitable for you, take a holiday, but instead of lying on the beach, go and do meditation. And there you will then develop that connection inside, which will allow you to find your peace whenever things around you then go wrong in your work. You cannot just expect that to happen because you are doing your best in half an hour or 1 hour or however much time of meditation in the morning, and then everything should go right. No, it's not that simple. I'm sorry. For most people, it's not that simple. To really reach that peace inside, it really requires quite a bit of time. For me to really reach a level in which I could say, okay, now I can easily find this peace inside whenever something disturbs me. Yeah, well, several times, couple of weeks of meditation. I mean, technically speaking, that's what it took. Apart from then also life, and evolving there, because there's also evolvement in life which allows you to come closer.
Yes, it's a matter of choice sometimes, but on the other hand, you have your responsibilities. It's not easy just to take a holiday.
Well, your first responsibility is to be happy.
That's why if you get sick, then
From that you can get sick. That's very right. You can get sick. Ja, goed gedacht, want ik was het weer vergeten. Ja, you can get ill. I mean, I'm not saying tomorrow, no? But I'm saying try to plan your life in such a way that you have not too many responsibilities, no? That you have enough rest, that you have enough time to a little bit work on it, because obviously it's not going very well. And try to organize it in such a way that within some months or something, I don't know, or maybe next summer or something, you can really take 1 month off and go to a good place and really there move forward in meditation in a place where you are supported, you are not disturbed, where you are getting help. Really, I advise that. If you are feeling, how can this go on? There's no magic trick like that. I cannot give you a magic trick. I can give you pearl powder, I can give you mantras, I can give you all kinds of things. But all these things need some time to really develop themselves inside of you. No? They have some power. Just one mantra, you know it, you say it, it has some power. But to really develop its potential, it needs work. So, I mean, you've asked this question quite a couple of times, and it's to me getting quite clear. I think it's not a matter of technique. It's not a matter of technique. It's a matter of creating enough peace to allow the technique to work. And for that, yes, well, you maybe need to a little bit.
I learned now that when
Create
you're doing 7-8 hours with a mantra, that your spirit reacts when you do a lot of exercise with your mouth, and you say your mantra, when you do have problems and you focus on something, but everything becomes quiet again.
Yes, that is something which then develops. And at some point, just once the mantra is enough to completely kill this negative feeling. Just one time, boom. Yeah.
But also what you have to give your anger a place. You can't deny it, you have to let it be, because it is, and you have to solve that problem also.
Sure, anger is different than issue.
I agree with you, but at that point I have to make a choice, or I stop my job and go to India for a couple of years, do as you did, and follow that path of yoga. I can, but until the end, I also believe that is not necessary.
I'm not saying a couple of years. I'm not saying it's necessary for a couple of years.
But
I'm saying it's necessary 1 month. To really move forward, 1 month in a good environment, right technique, right understanding, and then you come back from that 1 month. And then I think if you then also have a little more, or a little discipline going on of meditation every day and a little more in the weekend and so on, then you can maintain a level that everything that works around you, it's not really so much bothering you anymore. Because look around you, most people are stupid, they're going to act stupid, so you don't get upset about it. But I can tell that to you, but what you feel is different. And that's what you have to learn to change. You have to learn to change your feeling.
I take my lessons from it. I mean, whenever I feel angry, I say, oh, there's the master again. It's the master to me. Today I've learned again. I'm very upset and I try to control my greed. I'm not angry at anyone, but mostly at myself. Being angry, that's the biggest problem.
Yes, but don't do that. No, don't.
I tried.
In that way, what the lady said, you also have to let that anger a little bit live. As I said, it's better not to have it, but if it's there, play the game. And you've had a teaching on anger. The most important thing that I said about that, to get rid of your anger, learn to be straightforward. Especially in advance. Tell people very clearly what you want, what you don't want. Nicely, peacefully, but very clearly. Don't let any doubt be there. No? That will remove most of your anger. Be clear. And if somebody, because that can happen in a business or work situation, if somebody is not respecting that, really not respecting that, then please leave your job. If you are in a situation where if you are in a situation where you are really not being accepted as a human being, that when you say this is for me not possible and still it's going on, then please leave your job. You will find another job. I don't know if that's the case, but if that is the case, if you are in a working situation which is continuously giving you anger, and you are trying to make this clear to other people that they are continuously doing something which is wrong, and they are not wanting to listen to you, then be ready to leave your job. Really. And you will find another job. There's work enough for somebody who has skills and the desire to work. Oh, really? I mean, any of my clients know that very well. Any of my clients, they know very well. If they start misbehaving with me, I say, oh, what is it? You want to go on with me or not? It's like that.
But it's easy for you because you are at the higher position where to make the decision. What if you are not at that position? You put half of your energy in something and then at the last minute you can't just walk off.
No. I mean, this is also something then that you have to accept. You told me the story. You went into that situation. Okay. You can't just drop out at the last moment. You've suffered so much for it, so suffer a little bit more. No? But don't get angry over it. I also don't think you're angry over it. You just understand these are stupid people. They can't help it. No? So that's another way to deal with it. No? But if you can't, if you really can't accept it, if you really feel, no, they're not stupid, they're just, very bad in the way that they are behaving with me and I can't accept it, then go. and this is.
I remember your last lesson you explained about the anger.
Mm,
And that time you gave that mantra. And also you spoke about your anger or some people just take a glass of water and be silent.
A silver.
And really it helps.
yeah. Water is very good.
Really it helps.
Yeah.
Just try.
It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. Really, water. When I had my divorce, there was also quite a bit of anger there. But at that time, I was doing anger sadhana. This is just a little part of the story. I had a lot of water. Really, I forced myself to drink like 2-3 liters of water every day. Yes, flush the anger out.
Especially what helped me was finding what was my good intention when I had anger.
Mm.
What is my positive intention behind it? What do I want to reach?
Yes, yeah, and focusing
once
on that.
I found that, then I saw also where it came from. It had a lot of background in the past, a lot of energy from that time. And then
Yes. That is also true. I mean,
you have to respect that there's a big energy, and you must find a way to canalize it.
yeah,
If not, it will come back.
yeah. I mean, in this way, I mean, people who behave badly and you feel angry, actually, the fact that they are behaving badly is their problem. The fact that you are angry is your problem. And it may relate like to things in the past. Maybe other things have also happened to you, similar things that trigger some responses, and that makes it so difficult to let it go. But this is the basic way you have to deal with it. But if you cannot stop having angry thoughts for a month or many months, then you have to step out of that situation. You will kill yourself. You're a very strong man, but still, it's very, very bad for your health, for everything. Keeping anger burning inside is very, very unhealthy.
Yeah, I know I can do my job in peace. I'm self-independent.
Yeah.
For myself, but as you say, it's a matter of having 1 month or time in the year, just
Yeah. A little break.
One hour a day you try. You have a lot of work you need to do.
Yeah.
1 hour you try.
And how many hours you sleep?
8. Yeah. And I've mentioned that after 7 it's something very funny with my system that if before 7 I get up, I tried before, I get sick. I guarantee. After 7 no trouble.
Well, anyhow, no, slow down. I mean, you have to sometimes slow down and take more time. If you are unhappy in whatever way, anger or sad or anything like that, for like weeks, then you have to be drastic in your, measures that you take. It's not healthy. Not mentally, not emotionally, and certainly also not physically. You have to be able to change your situation. You have to, and accept the consequences of that. Accept that there's less money or more risk or whatever. But you have to do that. You cannot.
Can I ask you? It's personal, but what makes the people you? Why are you angry at people? What do they do to you that you are angry at people?
Mostly it's a form of not doing what they say they will do, or not fulfilling their promises, or
it's about expectation.
it's a form of disrespect, or it's a form of you count on someone and then they don't fulfill this or that.
What were your numbers again? We looked at that.
24, 05, 19,
81, no? Yeah. Well, don't take it personal if people are not perfect. It's really important. They have also their own stories going on, you know. So that also is something which helped me a lot to understand that whenever somebody does something wrong towards me, that I understand that this is not their intention. They may do it knowing that it's hurting me, but they are not demons that, you know, just want to hurt me. They have their own story. They have their own problems. They have their own reasons. And then it may still be wrong not to fulfill your promise or not to, you know, do whatever you have said you're going to do. But it's their problem. And, you know, it's not, you don't take it personal. I'm also saying that because the number 6 psyche more easily takes these things personal, feels hurt that in the relationship, you know, you feel connected, and then you feel, oh, this person really does not care about me. And, well, this may be true or not. I mean, that is entirely beside the point. They just have their own stories.
I know that they don't intend to generally. I know that, I realize. But then it's the accepting, like, why do I get angry about it? Why do I care?
Yeah. But maybe you're also very often getting more angry because you're angry that you are angry, yeah? I think so, huh? Yeah. Well, don't do that. That's what we were talking about before, no? If spirituality makes you unhappy, it's no good, no? It's no good. You have to accept yourself that a little anger comes. This is very natural. Only don't, you know, add to it. Don't start eating ginger at that time. You know, take some water. No? So don't add to it. But accept that it is there and let it go. And, you know.
I think it's important. Like my brother, he expects very much of a lot of people. He expects too much, and I don't expect anything. I just live, and if they are there at 6 o'clock when we meet, or they are there at 6:15, I don't care. And he really, he has to be there at 6, or else I will be angry. No, say, okay, I'm glad when he comes. Okay,
I learned that a lot in India, actually. I did quite a bit of business in India. That's like the worst idea I've ever had in my life. Yeah?
We have Indian standard time for everything.
Yeah, they say, oh, tomorrow afternoon I will come. And then you are sitting, you are waiting, you are, you know, not doing anything because they are going to come. And they don't come. And then maybe in the evening you will call them or finally get them on the phone and say, what happened? Why did you not come? Oh, well, my nephew passed by and, you know, we were talking, so I'll come tomorrow. And then tomorrow also they may not come. You know, it's quite strange. I mean, but you learn that. Like once I in the mountains, like, okay, it was quite a remote area, and I came to a bus stop. And some people were there sitting at the bus stop waiting for the bus, so I also needed the bus, so I was sitting there also waiting for the bus, and 1 hour went by and 2 hours went by, and so I asked them, you know, when is the bus coming? And they said, well, sure, this week. And truly they were living there, they were camping there, they were sleeping there, cooking there, everything, and then the bus comes and it stops for like 1 minute. Everybody's like grabbing all their things and going in the bus. It's like, so traveling in India, that teaches you a little bit that, you know, there's nothing you can expect. You know, that's a good teaching you get in India. And
So that's why I think we have a very relaxed attitude, which is not very good. You know? Because
well,
if someone tells me they're going to come tomorrow, I really don't expect them to.
no.
That's how the other person thinks, you know.
Yeah.
I'll come this week, and if they come, they come. If they don't come, because I'm really not expecting it.
Yeah. So they don't also feel obliged to come, so then little thing happens and they don't come. Yeah, I know. But so it's not always very practical, so they can a little bit be more practical. I mean, but on the other hand, it's also a very healthy attitude. not to expect things to happen because that's just your plan, because that was planned or because that was said, or but I think you know all that. I think you have enough understanding, you have enough technique, you have enough of everything. You just haven't yet had the time to really relax with all your understanding and to really learn to. And once you really find that there, and then you get this kind of meditation experience where hours go by and you haven't even noticed, then you will learn and come out and, okay, not everything will be solved, but it will become much more easy.